again this evening early, but an hour later than aforementioned because some of us just can't tell Central Time. We can only tell Eastern Time, and we're selfish like that because the world revolves around the East Coast. There's no other coast and there's no other time zone besides the Eastern Time Zone. So, because that's just the way we think out here. And with that, I can see that YouTube is starting, but I know that we have a hard stop at 20 minutes. Just trying to see if I was going to get an alert on my phone or not, because that's usually our indication. Bam! There it is. Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, boys and girls. Ooh, I spiked the audio on that one. Nice. It is 7 o'clock on the East Coast and 6 p.m. Central Time, and I know that now because, I've expanded, I've learned. I've become a better person, and we are here once again for the Edutainment podcast that brings you everything you need to know in this universe about this universe, because that's why we're here. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the hardest working Imam that I know, Imam Azhar.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to our first episode of Ramadan 2020. We welcome you in this quarantine Ramadan, a Ramadan of seclusion and worship, a Ramadan of peace and serenity, a Ramadan of making resolves and making resolutions. We welcome you to this different time, which will be the norm during this Ramadan. And if we are going to change, we will let you know. But please keep in mind that there is more than one time zone in this world.
No, there's not.
I should next time tell Brother Carl according to universal time and have him calculate that one. Those British people. Nevertheless, well, we thank you so much for joining us. And really, from the bottom of my heart, I say Ramadan Kareem and Ramadan Mubarak, a blessed Ramadan to all those who are observing this month. And for all those who are not, I bless you also, because you know what? The blessings of this month is for everyone, no restrictions. So thank you for allowing us to be with you this afternoon. And before I hand it back to Carl to tell us about this poll thingamajiggy, is that I'm happy to see the amount of passion and the amount of time we spent on making sure that poll tips its scale one way or the other. I think something happened today once again that never happened in the first 100 episodes, but Brother Carl will enlighten us on that. So without further ado, Brother Carl, tell us what happened in the poll this week. What were the suggestions on the poll that people could have polled on, and what is the outcome? Carl?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you follow us on Twitter at VennNetwork, VennNetwork, you can take part in our weekly poll, which is posted every Monday, and where it's you, our listeners, you, our fans, you, our followers, get to pick what we're going to talk about on our show, live on YouTube and Periscope for you. So because I know we're short on time, we're Imam Azhar has a very busy schedule this Ramadan, so we're up against a hard 20 tonight. I will jump right into it. The options this week were Ramadan check-in, food shortages, and of course the favorite, the one that everybody enjoys, what's the deal with? And this week we had a tie with Ramadan check-in and what's the deal with. But at the last minute, we got a tweet from a follower who said, hey, I missed the poll and I didn't get a chance to vote. Can I cast a vote for what's the deal with and be a tiebreaker? Because, and I'll throw it up on the screen here, because there was a dead tie between Ramadan check-in and what's the deal with. So with that being said, my response was simply that I would have to leave that tie-breaking decision up to the man himself, because I can't make that judgment call. But if there's an uncounted vote that should have gone towards what's the deal with versus Ramadan check-in. You know what? I don't know. I'm gonna pass it back to you and let you take it from there.
Well, thank you so much, uh, Element, Element, Elementality, for your engagement on Twitter. It's been an amazing engagement this afternoon, and we're happy that you are with us, and we're happy that you were able to express your desire to vote and make this tiebreaker actually a game winner for one of them. And I believe it was What's the Deal With? And so, in respect of your passion and your time and your vote that maybe couldn't have been casted due to the poll expiring, Carl and I are going to go, What's the Deal With? And Carl, I'm going to be as passionate as you are because you know what? This is your thing. I don't like What's the Deal With because it's so open ended. But guess what, everyone? It's not too open ended this week because there's so many questions that we can ask. What's the deal with? In reference to, I want to start with two things. And I know it's Ramadan and we don't want to get into politics and we don't want to get into things that would ruin the spirit of this holy month and this blessed time. But really, what's the deal with Mr. Clean getting a doctorate degree from Harvard University and Lysol and the rest of them? And in addition to that, bleach. It's crazy what one thing that is said, how it can be taken in, uh, taken in context, taken out of context, and the repercussions of such a statement. We know that the president alluded to using this ultra UV light rays, as he was saying, we're just going to put the light on them, we'll put it inside of them, we could do good inside of them. And then he talked about how, we can, kind of through an injection or something, disinfect our bodies. The Quran tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who have believed, إِذَا جَاءَكُمْ فَاسِقٌ بِنَبَإٍ فَتَبَيَّنُوا. If someone comes to you with news, someone who is spreading information, فَتَبَيَّنُوا, validate it, figure it out, find out the authenticity of it. أَن تُصِيبُوا قَوْمًا بِجَهَالَةٍ, that you do not go out of your way and inflict harm on a people, only to then find out that the news given to you is not correct. فَتُصْبِحُوا عَلَى مَا فَعَلْتُمْ نَادِمِينَ, and then you become remorseful because of what you did. How many people actually thought that the president was talking facts? He said later the next day that he was just bluffing, and he was kind of being sarcastic to the media, but he wasn't facing the media, he was talking to the expert. Never, ever, ever listen to something and jump on it until you find validity of that claim from other sources. Carl, it's a bad time in this world when you have to actually scratch your head and slap your face that people actually believe that. It's a symbol or a signal of utter ignorance that someone would actually inject themselves or drink or consume toxics and chemicals that have on it warning signs. Bleach has a warning sign. Lysol and the rest of them have these warning signs. You cannot use this on your body. But we have someone who's saying whatever he wants to say, and then we have people that actually follow it, which makes it ever more so concerning and alarming. So, what's the deal with someone stepping out of their line, out of their realm of knowledge and profession to start causing chaos and mischief? All I can say is the people who have died because of such acts, even though they may not be a large number, many people did call emergency lines to ask if it was actually something they can do. And so, thank God that at least people try to verify. I'm on the position where how would you even think or entertain such a thought? That's what's baffling me. But again, people thought that was authentic, just like those text messages going around or those social media posts. Home Depot's giving away $250 gift cards and everyone's forwarding it to everyone. It's called a spam. The second you click on that link, your phone is compromised, your personal information is compromised. Remember one rule in life, everyone, whoever is listening this afternoon, and if you can, spread it to your circles, spread it to your children, spread it to your family. There is no such thing as a free ride. Emirates Airline does not give away free tickets, and Home Depot does not give away free gift cards. So please don't jump on the bandwagon. Oh, this is amazing. Be one who is inquisitive. Think, ask, verify, validate before you jump on it. So, what was the deal with that? I want to hear from our listeners their thoughts. And one more thing I want to add to what's the deal with is our governor of Texas is opening up the whole state on Friday. He's opening up places of worship, 25% capacity. He's opening up the malls and the restaurants. And I'll tell you what's going on here for all of you who don't know. The government fund is overwhelmed. Our unemployment funds and grants for small businesses are exhausted. So long these places stay closed, there is a case against the government because you and I deserve money and you and I deserve rent and mortgage leniency. And so this is what's happening, Carl. If I tell you in Virginia to go back to work tomorrow and you are a restaurant owner and you come back to me and say, I can't afford my mortgage, they'll say, but you're working. We can't give you anything. You understand? And if I, as an employee of your restaurant, go to work and there is no work and I'm not getting paid and I go to apply for unemployment, let's say you have a job, your workplace is open, go figure it out with them. So what's happening in all this, it's not about money and businesses as everyone's thinking. It's about the government absolving themselves from the responsibility to take care of us at a time when we can't take care of ourselves. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. So what's the deal with us opening up cities and states across the country where the toll of cases went up, staggering numbers went up, and people are dying? I'm not going to be going back out and making life as usual. I can't speak for anyone else, but yes, Carl, what's your thoughts? What's our listeners' thoughts? Share.
No, I will be staying home because, as we've talked about before on this program, I am prime for this because this virus, it seems to like males. It seems to like type A blood. And diabetes is an issue that extremely complicates this particular virus. So, no, I will be staying home until, as the government said, the federal government said a week ago, don't go out until you have 14 consecutive days of zero new cases. And as it stands right now, DC, Maryland, and Virginia, well, specifically the top part of Virginia, we're on the rise. And we were there, Mariel Bowser, who's the DC mayor, even she was stressing the other day, she's like, we're going to have a major problem here very soon. So, yeah, I'm not going out. And I don't know what y'all are doing in Texas other than all I can say is, yeehaw, and get your guns and let's go out because the government can't tell you to stay home. Woo! But, yeah, that's not me. You guys are on your own with that stuff. And Sunshine, who's with us this evening, thank you, Sunshine. Imam Azhar does not believe that he was joking. And that's what Imam Azhar was saying, was that he said, "Oh, what was it? I forget because it was such a bad use of the word too. Sarcastic. Oh, I was being sarcastic and I was looking at the media, which he wasn't. He was looking at the doctor, which means he's lying." Which goes back to what I've been saying for the last year, which is we have tapes. Tapes don't lie. But no, Imam Azhar does not believe that the president was being sarcastic. He believes he was lying. And she also said that she will be staying home as well. So there's that.
Well, just to put perspective onto what you and I have just discussed, and thank you all of you for your response and for sharing your thoughts. I predict it's going to be crazy. The cases are going to go out of control the second we open up. It's because we still haven't identified those who are infected and those who are not. You see, if there was an identification process, like one of my friends here, he's a physician, He's one of the official locations. They have the prick test. Within 10 minutes, they'll know if you have it or not. If we can't facilitate these tests on a daily basis, not once off, every day, if you're going to go back to work, you better be tested every day, because there's a chance you could contract it between work, after work, before going to work. It has to be tested. In a similar fashion, the president is pushing governors to open schools. You can't open schools. You're going to risk kids. Thank God kids are at home. They're safe. I'm not planning to send my kids back to school. And thank God the governor, before this claim that he made this week, last week, he said schools are not opening until next year, meaning August. So it's scary. So please, everyone, take care of yourself. I love a hadith reference that was going about. Someone tweeted this, that it's amazing that the religion that prohibits you to go to the mosque if you've eaten garlic or onions, you don't go to the mosque because your breath is going to be a deterrent to those around you. If your religion is so mindful of each other that it does not allow you to go to the mosque with garlic breath or onion breath, what makes you think it's going to allow you to go under this coronavirus concern? Which to me is amazing. Because yes, the Prophet ﷺ said, don't come close to the masjid after eating garlic or onions. In a similar fashion, some people come to the mosque, and unfortunately when they're cooking at home, they don't turn on the exhaust fan, and their whole clothing, everything reeks of like curry, or they're chain smokers, and it's called third hand smoking. Yes, there's something called third hand smoking. Second hand is what you would breathe from what they had exhaled, and third hand is what particles are on their body or in their clothing, you contract that. So, this Ramadan, let's start this podcast, and let's make sure that we close this podcast with the theme of being thoughtful, being mindful, care for each other. Don't be selfish, because you may think you're fine, but you may then end up getting it and bringing it back home, and innocent lives at home will be infected because of your negligence and your utter stupidity. I want to end with one thing, Carl. Someone had tweeted this morning, and ABC had tweeted, a lady was taking a flight up to New York because her grandmother died and her family's in a bad situation. She was amazed at the flight, which I personally am appalled with what I saw that flight. It was almost full. There was no social distancing. People were sitting with each other. It was like another day at Disney World, which is very, very alarming. So please, everyone, practice common sense, social distancing, cover your mouths, don't touch your face, and don't push for the world to get back open. It's not going to get back to normal anytime soon. Back to you, Carl.
So just so you're aware, so when I text you either tonight or tomorrow, you're not surprised, but I'm going to be asking for that hadith reference, because I want to read that full hadith. That sounds absolutely amazing. I've never heard that before, and I want to know more about that. And Sunshine says that she has a pre-existing condition, which is why she stays home. It's called intelligence. And
oh, wow. I love that.
and I can also tell that you've been, not because I've seen your schedule, but because you've been busy all day, that you haven't seen the new news on Joe Biden. Or not Joe Biden, but
Mike Pence.
Mike Pence, yes.
Yes, my doctor friend sent that to me. He was touring the Mayo Clinic, and he didn't have his mask on. And I'm like, oh my God. I saw that because my doctor friend sent that to me. But please continue. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, because, he's bathed in Jesus Christ, so he don't need to be wearing no mask, which is very odd in and of itself. And I'm expecting hate mail, because I've spent a large portion of our 20 minutes together making fun of people from the South. So I'm sure the hate mail will be soon to come. But yes, we are up against a hard break because you have another class to go teach, and we are here at the almost 19-minute and 40-second mark. So we have reached the end of another Ramadan episode. Thank you for joining us. Sorry about the time confusion. Next week it'll be 7 p.m. We all know that. Everybody's good. No confusion next week. And make sure you check out VennNetwork.org for all of our shows. Make sure you check out the swag tag up there so that you can get some cool Venn Network or Raw Islam t-shirts to help support the network, help support the hosts, find a catalog of all of our past episodes. And I think, unless you have something else to say, we have reached the end of the episode, and go!
Just to let everyone know, the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is shared on Twitter on the live tweet of this show, which Carl has tweeted out. So you can find that in the response section. I pray in this blessed month of Ramadan that has just begun 5 days ago, that may Allah keep us all safe, all of humanity. May Allah protect us, and may Allah allow us to make good decisions for ourselves, in our community, and for all of humanity. Ameen and amen. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us. And Carl, till next time, we will say what?
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We did this. This is all backwards. What did you do to me? Salam.